Students at the Francis Letson Primary School now have access to 20 new computers and an information technology lab courtesy of Harney's BVI. Speaking at the launch of the IT lab on Wednesday, October 30th, managing partner at Harney's, Sheila George, a past student of the then Longlook Primary, shared her intimate relationship with Francis Letson Primary. George says teacher training in computers is crucial.
We are at the stage when every public primary school in this territory should have computers in the classroom. No question asked. It should not be left to the financial ability of the parent as to whether a child has access to and is able to learn how to use a computer, not in this technological age. Likewise, Honorable Minister of Education, we must train our teachers and to be skilled in the use of computers. And you must make it a priority to ensure it is done before the next school term, since without the teachers being trained and comfortable, any effort to bring technology into the classroom will fail.
Harney's adopted the Francis Letson Primary School in 2004 and has for the past 9 years financed various enrichment activities and allocation of equipment for the school. The Ministry of Education and Culture developed and introduced the IT curriculum for the primary school and hired a full-time IT primary teacher to teach the subject.
I've had meetings in the past with companies that wanted to put computers in the schools. And we have seen it happen throughout many of the schools in the territory, where the computers are in place. There's a lovely ceremony. We get a nice little photo op. We go away, you come back a year later, computers are not working, nothing is happening. And that is something that impressed me when I met with Ms. George, because she wanted to insist, or she insisted, that we have a curriculum in place and that we have someone in place to teach IT. That told me that it was a lot more than just making a donation, doing a photo op. And one day I decided to go to Rotary for lunch. I've been quite delinquent. I'm very ashamed of it. But I went that day. And I came late because I was in a meeting. And I think there was 1 or 2 chairs available on the table that Mr. Pope was sitting at. Never met him before in life. And, I like to talk. So I started talking, asking what does he do for a living, blah, 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 blah. You working? He said, no. I said, you're not working. He said, no, I have an associate's in IT from the college, and I'm not working. I said, uh-huh. So I said to him, get me a resume the next day. And I'm sure Mr. Pope in his mind, these politicians are always telling people to do stuff and they don't do anything. So he brought the resume. I think I went straight to the chief education officer and said, this is somebody that we can get to do the program. And true to form, we met him, we were impressed with him, and he's here now carrying out the work at the program.
Francis Letson Primary School is the first school to implement an IT curriculum and will be used as a pilot school for information technology instruction from stage 1 to class 5. Computer classes at the school began last month and it was led by IT teacher Elvin Pope.
So I'm basically giving them the introductory course to computers, teaching them about viruses, the internet, just basically the basics of computers, inputs, outputs, stuff like that.
District Representative and Deputy Premier Dr. Kedrick Pickering celebrated the achievements over the past decades in advancing the BVI collectively to provide opportunities for today's young people. Dr. Pickering's relationship with the Francis Letson Primary also predates the current institution.
The opportunities that you children have staring you in the face are beyond your imagination. You must embrace it. You must take the advantage of the opportunities to ensure that you set yourself up to become what you can become. When I grew up in this community, there wasn't a lot to look forward to. In fact, as a youngster growing up here in the 60s, getting your papers fixed was it. Get your papers fixed. What that means to you young people, you get a U.S. visa so you could go to the States. Them who didn't have formal education went to job course or went to the army, but just to leave because there was nothing. Josiah S.B. and Lambert were our heaven. But it was all pasture, cow. If you had cows, you were it, because that was the order of the day. There were no hotels and no nothing fancy. There were only 1 or 2 people who had a vehicle. I remember the first time I drove to Rotong in a vehicle. in 1966, when I went to represent Longlook Infant School on a spelling quiz. One of the first time I drove in a vehicle to go to Rotong. The education department used to be right behind the high school there. I never forget a man named Clough was the chief education officer at the time. It was the first time I drove in a vehicle. You know, these things are important to put things in historical context because things don't just happen. This is just not computer sitting in a lab at Francis. It spells opportunity. Opportunity means I can become anything I want to become. That's what you're looking at here today, students.
Principal Deborah James says while chalk and talk along with other teaching aids dominated the classroom in the past, the addition of IT tools will help the school reach for the stars. Student Alexa Penn expressed gratitude on behalf of the 215 students at the Francis Letson Primary School. In 2012, the new block at the school was completed, which included space for the new computer lab with assistance from Caribbean Security. Harney's information technology staff worked with the school alongside government's Department of Information Technology on specifications for the machines to integrate them with government's own systems. The 20 refurbished, fully equipped Dell computers were delivered to the school in August.